Hi people of the web, just a quick kind of tutorial. I'm just going to clean some bearings. I've just ordered these ABEC, if you can see that, allegedly ABEC 11s from RS. I don't know if they're any good, they were cheap, but I've given them all a spin out the packet. There's a full set, 2 sets for roller skates. They came with spacers, and I'm going to give them a clean. They're a little bit rough when I give them a spin. Some of them are a bit gritty. So what the process is I'm going to do is I'm just going to take all the rings off. As you can see, that's the full bearing there. And then I'll take the rings off and the nylon retainers and reduce them to this next level here. And then I'll take off the back nylons. So you can see the bearings are loose there. And that's what we're going to do, and that's what I'm in the middle of the process of doing now. So I'm just going to take them all out just so you can see it, and then I'm going to take this here toothbrush and I'm going to give the bare bearings over here a good little scrub with just some fairy liquid. Really is all they need. I have acetone, but to be honest I don't think they need it, so I'm just going to give them a scrub with some fairy liquid. Shout out to fairy liquid because they really do the job. And a decent toothbrush, not the one I use incidentally, and give them a good old scrub. And I'll dry them out. I'll also scrub these retainers because they're a little bit funky in some places considering they're brand new, which is a bit of a pain. So how I got the caps off over here is I just used this scalpel I have that I use for something else, for another job I do. So that's what I was using. And just to pop the caps off, and then I just have these pair of tweezers, which is how I just push these nylons out, just a little push and they fall out, no real big issue. And then I'll dry the bearings out because you need to dry them out. I've got a hairdryer, so I'm just going to dry them, and then I'll bring you back to what we're doing next. Hi guys, I'm back. Right, so that's the cleaning done. I had a few gritty ones and that were a bit iffy. This is why I always clean them when they're fresh out of the pack if they're cheap ones. And we had a couple break on us, which has happened before. I've had I think I've shown you before that I had this was a super red break on me, that one there, and literally broke. These ones have fallen apart. I can't really press them back in because they're basically going to snap, I think. So I'm just going to leave them. All the rest are running quite smooth. I'm just going to dry them off now, put them all back together. But yeah, 2 fell apart. Pretty typical, but they were a couple of really rough ones in the packs. So, but otherwise the bearings should be good once I've oiled them and dried them up. And they're going to be too shy, so I'll have to yet again order a few more to replace the 2 I'm going to be missing. But that's the way it sort of goes. But it's always best to do this, and then you kind of get the trash out of your skates and stop lock wheel and all the rest of the problems. But these are all the good ones, so you know, there we go. I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so this is the bearings dried. I'm kind of going to say, I mean, I wouldn't order these bearings, to be honest. They're about £8 for 8, so like £1 each. And I've kind of gone through them all. They're all dried now. I've just greased that one. It's not too bad. So what you're going to do next would just be to get some of this speed cream, a couple of drops in each bearing, put the caps back on, and you're pretty much good to go. But yeah, I don't rate these very much. We're going to try them. There's a few noisy ones still there. I've just given them a light spin. I don't know how to spin them without the oil in, but the cream. But you can kind of get a gauge then of how kind of rough they were built, and these are not good quality. So just a few drops into there, and then put a cap on, give them a spin, and then they, you know, they will work. They're fine. They will get me where I want to go for now. But I definitely wouldn't be buying RS bearings again. So that's sort of my little review. I'll try and do a little update on it, see how they went. They seem a bit loose, and I think there's a good chance of them either locking or Getting more dirt in them, or I don't know, we'll see. So hey guys, just a quick update on those bearings I just showed you, which I wouldn't recommend to buy, to be honest, but I put them in the Ventro Pros on the buoys. You can see that, and I mean, they spin, they're pretty good, I guess, but I don't think I would recommend them at all. A bearing's a bearing, so they say at the end of the day, but I think there is a difference when you go really cheap, very cheap ends, to the sort of medium range ones, kind of like the Super Reds that I've used here on my other wheels. These have both got that, but those are the these ones here actually. These are a good one. Those are an ABEC 9 in there. Got those online. They were cheap as well, but they are not as cheap as those, and they spin pretty good. Yeah, and then I've got the Super Reds and the Cryptos, and just a quick sneak. My Bont Parkstars finally came. There they go, and yeah, that's got the bowl bombers on there with the Super Reds, and Disco Trucks, Paradigm Pro on there. Had to play around with the kingpin a bit, tighten that up, and the pivot pin. Got the bionic stops on there, but they're great, absolutely fantastic. I've had them out once, been up the skate park, but I'll tell you a bit more about that later. And just a quick glance at some of all my pads here, and that's the helmet for my Scoot, which you've probably seen if you've ever come to my channel, which is over there. This is a beast. Basically built that from the ground up, stripped it right down to nothing, changed everything. Yeah, just another pastime for an old man. So anyway, that's a few of the tools and stuff from my skates. Looks a bit overkill, but I prefer to use ratchets and better quality Allen keys for my for the nuts and bolts on everything. I've got a skate spanner, which is okay when you're on the fly for just adjusting your wheels, but not much good for doing things like, you need this spanner here for the Bont Parkstars for doing your pivot pins. But yeah, hope you enjoy. I'll speak to you all again soon, and don't forget to share. Thank you guys.